All right, I'm over at the OneUp booth at Seattle 2019, and they've got a lot of really cool stuff, some pretty new, very interesting stuff for the cockpit. What we're going to start with is the seat post. So before they had 2 travel lengths, now they have 4, starting at 120, then it goes in 30 mil increments, so 150, 180, all the way up to 210 millimeters of travel. Each one of those is shimmable to reduce it by up to 20 millimeters. So you could go down to 100 millimeters of travel, or like 190 if you wanted. But what's really interesting about these is that they're actually the shortest post per travel that you can get. So if you had trouble getting like a 150 or a 180 on your bike, take a look at these because they take up less space overall, and the stack height above the collar is going to be lower than most. So you might be able to get a longer travel post. And when you shim it, so let's say you wanted to get like 160 mil travel, you can take that 180, shim it to 160, and the whole length becomes 20 millimeters shorter too. So there's a lot you can do with these that you can't do with other droppers. So moving on, you got a whole bunch of new carbon handlebars from them. This is what's super unique. Check this out. You can see the shape here. What it is it starts with a 35 millimeter center section and then the standard 22.2 on the outside. But it's in here that gets weird. It's ovalized, so it stays 22.2 as long as it can this way. But when you look at it from the top, it stays 35 millimeters out as far as you can. So what you end up with is this little wing of a flat section here that gives it a little bit more flex, and it's somewhere around like 21% more like flex, so it'll be a little more comfortable, and about like 28% more rigid this this way, so that you end up with kind of the best of both worlds on a bar. Now, if you're familiar with OneUp, you know they have that EDC, which is like an everyday carry toolkit that would go into the stem. It's it's this little guy here. But the problem with that original version was you had to thread, like tap and thread your steerer tube. So it only worked on alloy steerer tubes, and it was kind of like one of those things where maybe it voided the warranty of your fork. So they came up with a solution. And here's Chris. And he's going to show us how they solve that problem, so it'll work on carbon steerers, steel steerers, any steerer, and you're doing it with a new stem. So let's see that thing.
All right, so this is the OneUp EDC Stem, and what we wanted to do is integrate the preloading of the headset bearing into the stem in a compact way that enabled you to run our top cap and our tool in your fork without threading the steerer. So what we have here is a split collar, conical collar that sits within the stem here. It's just recessed, and it's a third bolt. So how you will operate this is you'll tighten your 2 steer bolts, and then you'll tighten this preload bolt, which will pinch this conical spacer, and it'll move out of the stem to take up the slack that's in your system, and then you're going to lock it on the other side.
Okay, so instead of a star nut at the top,
that's right, that
would normally pull that stem down and cinch everything, and then you tighten the stem. Now you tighten the stem, and then you tweak that other bolt, and it pushes down from below.
Correct.
Cool. I mean, it seems like such a simple solution, but how long did that take you to figure out?
It took a while. I had a few different designs going, and I had a precision watch engineered gear inside there, but then I abandoned that and I moved into this. So this is about 1.5 years, almost 2 years in development.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And what's the cost on that?
So the whole system with the preloader is $115. The stem itself is just $85. So if you want to run just the stem, we provide a spacer in here without the preloader, and that's $85. And then if you want the top cap, the preload, the whole thing, it's $115.
Okay, and what are the length options?
So we have 2 lengths, it's 35 and a 50 mil.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Tyler.